Hey guys, Freddy here, and I guess I will talk about Avengers Endgame. I saw it last month when it came out. I saw it at this theater called not D Box. I saw it at the Regal theaters, but at Regals now they have, or some have this thing called 40X, where it like rains in the theater and um, wind blows in your face, water squirts in your face, all that fun stuff. It makes you fully immersed into the action of the movie. And I saw Captain Marvel in that theater, and now Avengers Endgame, and it's in this theater in Orlando, by my school, and it's a really good theater. So yeah, Avengers Endgame. Um, it made 1.2 billion in the first 3 or 4 days of its release, which is fucking impressive for a movie. Um, and now it just beat Titanic a couple weeks ago, and it's on its way to beat Avatar, which I don't think it's gonna happen because uh, King of the Monsters just came out this week is coming out this weekend, and then yeah, unless they do a re-release like what they did with the first Avengers movie, where they re-released it into theaters like a couple weeks before the Blu-ray release, they could do that and maybe more people give it $100 million to go see it, because that's all it needs. It's just about 100 million more to go. Um, I don't see that happening, but yeah. So yeah, not King of the Monsters, Avengers Endgame takes place like right after Infinity War, right after the snap, and it opens with Clint Barron, his name is right. He's like showing his daughter how to shoot bow and arrows, and then like all of a sudden like his family disappears around him, and he's just looking around, and then the Marvel logo pops up, and it has the song "Dear Mr. Fancy" playing in the background. I like that. I thought that was good opening, and then it cuts to Tony Stark and Nebula playing like football. How you have like a paper, you just fling it, and people just do this. Yeah, they're doing that on not Chris Pratt, Star Lord ship, and Tony Stark is like running low on food supplies and all that, and then he gets saved by Captain Marvel, and then she appears like 10 minutes later, and we don't see her till the climax of the movie. What I liked about the movie, I liked Fat Thor. I love the jokes they had for Fat Thor, but not a lot of people. I understand why people do not like Fat Thor. If you're like a fan of Thor, I understand. You don't like what they did with this character. I thought was okay with it. Professor Hulk was weird for me at first. It took me like a scene or two to adjust to him, because it's just Hulk, but he has Mark Ruffalo's voice. It was just odd to me for the first couple scenes, and then I was like, and then I got used to it. So yeah, they pretty much kill Thanos in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Thor decapitates Thanos, and you actually kind of do see the decapitation. So there goes the PG-13 rating, guys. That was really cool. Pretty ballsy for Marvel, and yeah, this movie was really, really fun. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. That and not Jurassic Park. John Wick 3 are my top two favorite movies of the year right now. John Wick 3, I'll talk about that. I may or may not make a video on that later, but Avengers Endgame is just, it just has so many good moments, and it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. Like some of the stuff we see in this movie we haven't seen in a Marvel movie, like a lake house. We've never seen like a lake house type scenery in a Marvel movie before. We get that in this movie. Tony Stark pretty much just retires as being Iron Man, and he pretty much has like a family with Pepper Potts. He has a daughter now, and he like goes to like this, like I said, like a lake house, and just different change of pace in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've never seen like anything like this in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't recall like houses in this, but yeah, so it just kind of made it feel like a artsy movie for the moments they were at that place. But yeah, and so yeah, they try to they have to they're trying to find a way to reverse this snap, and so they do this thing called a time heist, which is Ant-Man's idea. Ant-Man gets saved by a rat, so pretty much the rat that accidentally steps on the button and the in Ant-Man's van in the beginning of Endgame is the real hero of this movie. So if that rat didn't step on the button, we wouldn't have a movie. So thank you, rat. But yeah, so yeah, they visit different points of time in the MCU. Like they visit New York City in 2012, which is when the event of the first Avengers movie took place, and they had some really good comedic moments in that in there in that segment. That's probably like my favorite moment of the movie is when they're in New York 2012. There's like really funny moments involving Hulk and some stairs. I loved it. I love that scene. And then they visit Asgard in 2013 for Thor: The Dark World. They visit 2014 for Guardians of the Galaxy, and yeah. And what else did they visit? They went back to the 70s at one point because Thanos caught on to them and pretty much tries to fuck up what they're trying to do. And so like, oh, there's a thing in the 70s that there are Pym particles or whatever. They go there, they get like the Pym particles, and we meet Howard Stark. Tony and Howard Stark meet each other. They haven't seen each other in years. And Howard Stark doesn't know that Tony Stark is his son. I mean, he knows that he has a son named Tony Stark, but Tony Stark doesn't tell him like, "Oh, I'm your son." Yeah, so it just gave us a touching moment in that scene, and we see Stan Lee pop up in that 1970 part, and yeah, and I don't know. This video is all over the place. I'm sorry. I wasn't planning on doing this video, but it's like, you know what? I want to talk about Endgame, so I'm going to talk about Endgame. But yeah, so they go in the 70s. They get they get Hank Pym's. I think it's like whatever. They get the red things. They use to go back in time and get the I think it's not the time stone. It was shit, I forgot what stone it was. But yeah, they go back in time to get that stone because Thanos I think has it now, so they go back in time to get it again. And yeah. So it pretty much plays out like your typical time travel movie. Something happens and they have to go back again and get that other thing. So yeah, you've seen that plot thread in a time travel movie before. But at least they make fun of the fact that they're taking ideas from movies. Like at one point, Ant-Man is like says something about Back to the Future Part 2, and that was really funny. So at least they're being self-aware about that. But yeah, and then the battle sequence at the end is just holy shit. I feel like every character that has appeared in the MCU is in this scene at the very end, and it was a really cool fight scene. Like really, like you see Captain America wield Mjolnir and starts beating Thanos with it. Fat Thor, and Captain America just have like a beat down on Thanos. Captain Marvel tries to take Thanos' gauntlet off, and Thanos tries headbutting Captain Marvel, but it's not doing anything to her because she's powerful, and so he just like throws her across. He just throws her, and yeah. And then Thanos, and then Tony Stark tries taking off Thanos' gauntlet, and he fails, but he somehow gets all the stones and like puts it on I guess the Iron Gauntlet, I guess you can call it, and he snaps, and then Thanos disappears, and all of his all of his I guess all of his army or whatever you want to call it disappears. His minions, or not minions, henchmen, whatever, disappear, and Tony Stark dies. Unfortunately, it was a really sad moment in the movie. Speaking of deaths, Natasha dying in this movie took me by surprise. Like, I was shocked that they killed off Natasha. Like when she falls, like, wait, is she dead? Did she just die? I'm like, holy shit. And like, I was like, holy shit, they just killed off Natasha. That's, like, I was just shocked. Like, I didn't, like, if someone were to tell me, they guess who's gonna die in Endgame, Natasha's name would never come out of my mouth. I would never say Black Widow, but here I am. Black Widow is dead. So yeah. Although people are like, oh, what about her origin movie or her solo film? I knew the origin movie is gonna be like a prequel to like whatever. I think I heard it was gonna take place before maybe like the first Avengers movie or before Iron Man 2. I think it's gonna happen around Iron Man 2 or whatever. So I knew about that already. So that didn't really surprise me. But other people were like, oh, how's this gonna happen? I was like, they just said months ago that it takes place before like Iron Man. So calm down. But yeah, and then yeah, Harley's in this movie for like 2 seconds. He just, like, I was so happy to see that Harley was gonna be in this movie, and he's barely a cameo. He's just standing there. Like, the camera just pans to it's at Tony Stark's funeral. Like, the camera just pans to everybody who attended the funeral, and you just see Harley just standing there. You're like, oh, okay, Harley's in the movie. Cool. Doesn't do anything, but he's in it, so awesome. I wish they gave him more than just kids standing at funeral, but whatever. Because no one's gonna really. And I feel like some people forgot about Iron Man 3. No one's gonna. I feel like some people were like, who is that kid that they lingered on for a brief second, and then they're like, oh yeah, it's the kid from Iron Man 3. Yeah, it's the kid from Iron Man 3. But yeah. It was really nice to see Korg in this movie. If I had a gripe with this movie, it'd be that they had the whole dab in this movie. It didn't really look like a dab, but he said it was a dab. So why was that in the movie? Like, why? Like, if the next thing the Hulk did was to floss, I would be like, fuck this, I'm done. But they dabbed, and that's just so 2016. But yeah, that's the only thing that bothered me about the movie. I think that's everything. Feel free to comment below what you thought of the movie. I really enjoyed this movie. This is my favorite movie of the year so far. So, yeah, bye.